Welcome back to the second episode in our IPv4 lessons. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the type of messages that can happen in IPv4. Remember last time we had a look at the IPv4 structure. We learned a little bit about the bits that make up an IP address. We talked a little bit about broadcast. We'll talk a little bit more about it now, amongst other things. But today this is going to be short, sharp, and sweet episode. Should be less than 10 minutes, but quite important topics that I'd really like you to focus on. All right, so let's go over to our desktop over here. So we're going to be learning unicast messages, broadcast. We already went through this, but it doesn't harm us to go through it again. And multicast, interesting. Multicast is very, very, very interesting. And like in CCNA, if any of you work hard and go and do your CCNA and go on to CCNP, you'll learn about multicast. It's actually not as simple as you might expect. It takes some configuration, and it's like a whole chapter in CCNP, but fun, a lot of fun. All right, so we've got two computers. Let's start with our pen over here, if I can find it. So we've got our computer here. Yeah, we've got a little switch. And we have another computer. There is another way we could do this, but we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. So this computer goes to this switch. Now, everything's working perfect. By the way, this is not multicast. There we go. This is unicast that we're looking at now. Say 10. And this one over here is 192.168.10.11. So these computers, they're chatting away with each other. They're sending a little message going over to that side. These computers already know how to get to each other. They've already established a line of communication. They know each other's MAC addresses. They know each other's IP addresses. They just want to send a message, just one message. Well, actually, not one message, but some messages. Could be one, could be a few, only to one host. So this is 1-to-1. Okay, unicast. Simple as that. Honestly, there's not really much more we can look at into it further. To be honest, it's a very, very simple concept to understand. Now let's just expand on this a little bit. Let's see if we can probably. All right, I'm going to do this really quickly. I'll put some magic live pause on. Be back in shortly. So if we have a look at this diagram that I've just set up now, we've got two different networks. We've got a 10 and a 20. So remember in our previous episodes, when that's different, that's the network name and ID for that particular subnet on this side. And split that in half really. Yeah. And on that side. So we've got two different networks happening here. So if I want to send a message from this computer, that looks like an envelope, by the way. I'm going to send it, going to go all the way over through this router and over all the way to here, to this address. Just a one-to-one. It will bounce along the multiple networks, but it's still a unicast. It's just one message, or it's just one destination. Okay, it's just one destination. That's it. All right. Now, let's talk about multicast. sorry, we'll talk about broadcast first. We'll go with broadcast. We've already had a look at broadcast already. I've got we've got 3 computers there, and I have a switch in the middle. Yeah. Now, for some reason, we're not getting into it too much, but usually this is going to happen when when we're doing a DHCP or in a PIP or something like that. There'll be broadcast. There are different type of broadcast, but basically, this computer is sending messages everywhere. Sending it to there. Sending it to there. At the same time. It's the same message, but to 2 different destinations. They will receive it. They will receive if they want it or not. They're going to get it. They might discard it. It might get to them, and it's saying, "Hey, this is not mine. Please leave me alone. Buzz off." And I will just drop it, for example. Or it might take it. So there are so many different, That one great example. It's a little bit of an advanced topic, but a DNS server, an Active Directory domain server will accept a lot of broadcasts. Okay, so that's broadcast. That's one computer sending it to many computers. So that will be, for those who are in databases, that is a one to many. In your database structures. Been a long time since I've done databases, but so that's a one-to-one. So that's a one-to-many. So Unicast is a one-to-one. So that's Unicast. And a broadcast. Well, not really many, really. Technically, it's one. It's a one to all. I don't think databases have one to all, do they? So broadcast is one to all. Okay. Everyone will get will receive. It's like you have a broadcast, like your Channel 7 or Channel 9 or whatever channel TV stations you've got out there. Basically, it's broadcasting all the time. So the broadcast is going everywhere, whether we want it or not. It's our choice to switch the television on and tune in or not. That's up to us. But whether we like it or not, radio and television is going through us and going through everywhere. So now the next one is interesting, a bit mysterious even. This one, the next one is called a multicast. Multicast. Interesting one. This one. Now the best way I can explain this is I don't want to favor a particular organization, Netflix, or we'll say Paramount. So these are streaming services, okay. And what they're doing, say I want to watch. Actually, we'll go to Disney. We'll go to the Disney streaming server, Disney, and we'll say that they've got The Mandalorian, for example. Mandalorian. Okay, episode 2 from season 1. Okay, all right. So now, what Disney is doing with this is it's streaming it. Okay, it's streaming in multiple, it's just coming down. Now it's up to us. Okay, if I wanted to, okay, if I'm at home and I've got 4 rooms at home and I've got 4 Apple TVs, yeah, in each room. We're not a very united family. My family's pretty good, but in this scenario, we're a horrible family. We want to keep away from each other. So now, this TV will subscribe to that stream. Now, it used to be, this example I'm using now, used to be more relevant to cable. We used to get cable in the old days where that big cable was just, everything was coming down, whether we wanted or not, at a particular point in time. So that's, but this scenario here, there's some other technologies at work. It's not as simple as what I'm showing you, but basically, these televisions, these hosts, okay, will only get that stream if we subscribe to it. If we want it, then we get it. So, how does that work in multicast in a computer world? It works like this. I've got a computer over here and one over there. And we'll get another one here. We've got a switch. Okay. And we have a server over here. Actually, no, we'll make a different color so we don't get confused. Server. Doesn't matter what server it is. We're not going to worry about it too much. But what we'll be looking at is the server is saying, I don't really care in particular who gets this. I'm not sending it to anyone in particular. But there it goes. I'm just going to send it. There we go. I'm going to send this. Now, it's up to you. Do you want it? Do you want this stream? Do you want this multicast? Do you want this? Do you want to subscribe to it? This computer says, nah, can't be bothered. I don't need it. No thanks. This computer says, yeah, not really interested. That's a no for me. This computer says, you know what, I actually do want it. I'm interested. Okay, there we go. There's one for you. This computer here is saying, yeah, I want it too. So there we go. So now we've got a multicast. It's kind of like many one-to-ones, but here's the cool thing about this. It gets a bit complicated. If you ever do CCNP, you'll learn a lot about this. And it's quite interesting. There's a lot of fun in it, but it's hard to understand sometimes. That we actually have servers and routers along the way that are a part of the multicast protocols. And what sometimes can happen is that one computer will subscribe and another one will subscribe at different times, but we'll be able to get exactly the same information. So there are a lot of things at play in multicast. But that's basically, that's in a nutshell. So multicast is saying, look, I'm going to broadcast to everyone, but I'm not shoving this down your throat. You don't have to take it. You don't have to. But it's out there if you want. If you want it, let's do it. If you don't, I won't send it to you. I'm not pushing it to you. Broadcast, I absolutely am sending it to you, whether you want it or not. It's up to you. If you don't want it, then you can discard it. And one-to-one is I know I only want to send it to one computer or one node. I don't want to bother anyone else, and I'm going to send it, and it's nice and smooth. So look, I hope hopefully that was helpful. If you have any more questions, please let me know. You can contact me directly if you're one of my students, or if you're not my students but you want to ask me something in the comments, you're more than welcome to. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you into the next episode where we're going to talk about the type of different IP addresses, Class A, Class B, Class C, etc. Another interesting and exciting subject. So until then, we'll see you soon.